Last season, Manchester United took on West Ham in what was one of the worst games I've ever seen from Man United, and it went something like this. Aaron Wan-Bissaka for West Ham would pick up the ball at right back. He'd be right here. He'd pick up the pass and then either play it to a center back or to the deepest lying midfielder for West Ham. And while he was doing that, he'd simply just move at the pitch 10 or 15 yards. He'd get the ball back, he'd do the same thing again, move up another 10 or 15 yards. And before you know it, West Ham were attacking Man United's box with numbers. They were able to do it what felt like, this isn't even a hyperbole, genuinely 150 times against a United team that was so fragile at the back, so fragile with their wing backs, with their number 10s, whatever you want to call them, the three center backs. They had no idea how to stop someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who is someone who's been constantly slandered as having no offensive ability. So that laid a blueprint on how to beat United towards the end of last season. And so when the two teams met in what was the first game of United's Premier League Summer Series, I was really questioning how have United dealt with this? Have they dealt with it? I was very surprised. I sometimes mentally do report cards on certain aspects of United's games. A lot of them are Fs, but today the pressing, it had to be an A or an A plus, definitely an A plus actually. Every time West Ham wanted to build the ball out, not just to Wan-Bissaka, but to either their fullbacks, either their wingers, was constantly being swarmed by United players. And it just felt like 9 times out of 10, if West Ham tried to play out wide, there was a player breathing down their neck, which was so refreshing to see. This is a little bit of a deep cut here. In the 21-22 season, when Ralf Rangnick was hired, it was his first game against Crystal Palace. There was one time when I saw 2 United players. It was when Rangnick employed his 4-2-2. Guys, it was one time. A Crystal Palace player got a ball. I think it was like their central center back, maybe it was the goalkeeper. And 2 United players just pressed either center back or either fullback. And I'm not even joking, I heard Old Trafford clap. Just because we sent 2 players in cohesion to go press, I was even one of those people clapping. I then thought to myself, could they get any lower than this? That because I'm seeing 2 United players go and almost attack a ball, almost just do the lightest pressing sequence in the world, and I'm clapping, and I'm supposed to be proud of this, and that's genuinely, I think, the lowest I ever saw Man United. And so to see the development and from that point to where we are now, especially with the benchmark of West Ham towards the end of last season to where we are now, it's something completely different. There is a little bit of a caveat that I think deserves to be mentioned that plays in the back of my mind. Pretty much everyone at Manchester United right now, their jobs are on the line. The kitchen staff, the manager, assistant managers, the players. Heck, I even feel like my job's on the line right now, and I don't even work for the club. Everyone feels like they're on a knife's edge. If you're one of these players who's vying for a starting spot or a spot at all under Ruben Amorim at Man United, you will be giving that extra 15 or 20% to keep your paycheck. And if that means pressing Aaron Wan-Bissaka, or if that means pressing, whoever West Ham is employing, down the left flank, or whoever it is over the next coming weeks, you will do so. How many times have we seen the video of Luis Enrique yelling at Kylian Mbappe, Michael Jordan's your favorite player. Michael Jordan, he defended. He pressed from the front. You need to press from the front. How many times have we seen that video? That's what pressing is. It's giving that extra 15 or 20%. And with United, in the past, we saw Marcus Rashford sometimes press. We saw Rasmus Højlund sometimes press. Amad Diallo last season. United scored 4 or 5 goals just because Amad would run at players and they'd get scared and essentially kick the ball into their own net to give United a goal. We saw 1 or 2 players running at a time. Tonight, we saw 3, 4, 5. You close down one angle, well, it opens up another. Well, not if Bruno Fernandes is right there. It was something that was synchronized. It was cohesion. It was really pleasing to see. I just question when we get into week 5, week 6, week 7 of the Premier League, when United get off a little bit off of their hot start of the season where they face Arsenal and then Liverpool a couple weeks later and all these teams, when they get into the grit and grind of the year, will this pressing structure still exist? Will these players be giving that extra 115, 120% that they have to in order to win the ball back in high areas? And to be honest with you, that high area winning was the best part of United's game tonight, because you look at the attack. I don't know if I've said this before on this channel, but I think Rasmus Højlund is one of these guys that is so confidence-based. And what I mean by that is certain players have certain things that make them tick. And for Hoyland, if he scores a goal, he looks almost unstoppable. I do believe he's still the youngest player to score in 6, 7, or 8 straight Premier League games like he did in his first season at United. And that was a Hoyland that I remember there was a shot against against Luton where Garnacho just like ripped the shot and Hoyland just tilted his shoulder and it hit off his shoulder and went in. It's just goals like that. He just scored for fun at points. There was another great goal he scored against Tottenham on the edge of the box, 3 or 4 minutes into that game. That was back in the 23-24 season. It was one of those goals, a part of that 6, 7, 8 game streak. And that's Rasmus Hoyland at his absolute best. He scores a goal, he keeps the momentum. At the next game he gets another goal, that momentum builds and becomes such a great player. The problem is, what happens the other 25, 24 games of the season? Last season, what happens there are 32, 33 games of the year when you can't rely on Hoyland because he has someone that, if the confidence is flowing and he gets that first goal, he can tick 2 or 3 more on. But if it stops, if he goes a game or 2 without scoring, everything begins to drop and he finds himself in those barren spells like we saw last season. And like it looks like we saw in his period of time playing against West Ham. Now, I don't think Hoyland had a terrible game tonight. I really don't. I actually think in terms of building up from the back or, his back to goal, his link-up play has improved significantly since he first joined the club. But he gets into the box and he shoots when he should pass. He passes when he should shoot. That confidence that he has when he's outside, when he's putting his back to defenders, being able to pass the ball off onto incoming midfielders, all that ability and just that lack of thinking, it just disappears. And then he looks like a deer in headlights when he gets into the box and when he's forced, to choose, do I shoot, do I pass, where do I shoot, that types of stuff. You can just see almost the gears clicking in his head. What should I do? And that's just the Hoyland that we cannot have leading the line for this United team. And I think there's players on Man United who will contribute goals. Bruno Fernandes, Mateus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, hopefully, Amad. There's those 3 or 4 guys that you consistently can gather 30 goals off of, hopefully. But with this United team, you need those extra 15 or 20 goals. And Hoyland's just not the guy to do it right now. And you're looking at, possible replacements. Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Benjamin Sesko? Maybe? Hey, I'll say this, though. Alexander Isak. Why not us? Huh? You know what I mean? Liverpool just signed Hugo Ekitike. Arsenal just signed Victor Gyökeres. You don't have anywhere else to go. Man City don't need you. Come revive the Stretford End. But in more seriousness, I think maybe we'll begin to see more concrete links between Sesko and United, which I won't be contradictory. I told you all a few videos ago, I don't think Sesko is ready for Premier League yet. I think if he goes to Arsenal and if they would have missed out on Gyökeres, it would be a massive mistake. I still think the same for Sesko, even if he goes to United. While I think he is a better player than Hoyland and has possibly higher potential than Hoyland, he's not guaranteed 15 or 20 goals like a number of other players are, in the Premier League, Gyökeres included. So I think that still will be a problem point for United. I think if we bring in Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I mean, I can't believe it's 2025 and I said the words Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And obviously there's no chance we get Alexander Isak. So the striker market out there, it's pretty dried up. So it will be interesting to see how United kind of work through this. But overall, I do think this match against West Ham, it was an improvement, mostly defensively. Like I mentioned before, the pressing tonight was absolutely superb. It was some of the best I've seen on Ruben Amorim. But there's still that gaping hole in attack. What's going to happen when Fernandes can't give you 2 goals every single game? What's going to happen when Cunha drops in form and Mbeumo drops in form? If you have a confidence-based striker like Hoyland with no confidence up top, you're going to lose pretty much every game. You can't win a game if you don't score. But that would do it for me, guys. I appreciate all you guys' continued support. I know I've been gone for a little bit, but in all honesty, the football offseason, it's such a weird place because you always think this is going to be so great in terms of transfers. There's going to be so many content ideas to kind of get out. There really isn't, especially when you're covering a team like United. I mean, we got Mbeumo. I was pretty much done hypothetically earlier, towards the very end, beginning of the offseason. Cunha was done a little bit before that. There hasn't been that many big transfers kind of throughout the league since the beginning of June. about. But I appreciate all you guys' support, and please feel free to like, share, subscribe, turn on the subscription bell, and I'll talk to you all soon.